Welcome to the interlude, and you can already tell this episode is more special than most because it doesn't have any of the intros. It just quickly cuts to Jennyffer and then pans down, and it's all very quiet and very somber, and that's how we
Hey,
establish
Jenny.
the tone of this short.
Remind me again. What are we doing today? What is this about?
Well, you know how I never really liked celebrating birthdays?
Yeah, I remember one time when I was like 8. I didn't got a birthday invitation, and I thought you didn't want me there. But then it turned out that you didn't have a party at all.
Yeah, well, I never really liked parties, honestly.
Man, I really fucked up the lines here. I'm slurring all of my fucking lines. I'm barely enunciating at all. I really rushed the recording of this episode. I thought, well, it's short. It should be done fast.
They will keep saying how big I was growing and how I was growing to be such a big, strong boy and such a handsome gentleman. I fucking hated that. So, yeah, I kind of stopped having them. And then when I was 12 or so, I had like a
Yeah, this is actually all based on a friend of mine, a girl I dated called Zoe, um, which is also a trans girl. And she was actually the first trans girl I ever met and the first trans girl I ever dated. And the thing is that, yeah, this is something that is very true to her life. I don't remember if it was specifically with birthdays. I think she doesn't like birthdays either, mainly because they just remind her of her own mortality or something. But I know that she does not like Christmas specifically, and she does not like Christmas, and she does not like Santa Claus, and she does not like the concept of getting birthday gifts. Why? Because when she was little and her parents were asking her, what do you want Santa Claus to bring you? You should write a letter to Santa Claus. She would write letters to Santa Claus asking for things like Barbies and makeup. And her parents would be like, oh, but you see, those letters got lost in the way to the North Pole. So he's not gonna be able to bring you that. So you should write a second letter, but you shouldn't be asking him any of those things. You should ask him for normal gifts. And she would get like normal boy gifts, like cars and soccer balls and shit like that. And this would make her so depressed that eventually she asked her parents to stop bringing her gifts. Like she didn't want to get any more Christmas gifts as a child. And that's like the saddest fucking thing imaginable.
really bad
So yeah,
flu.
this is a lot of this is
And I had
based
like
on
a
that.
really bad fever, and I took some medicine for that, and that like knocked me the fuck out for the whole day. And it had been the
Jesus,
best
that's a
birthday
terrible
I
line
ever had
read.
in my life because I didn't have it. And then ever since then, it became this tradition. Just I spend my entire birthday asleep.
Also, I like the detail that you can see how her actual hair is growing out a little beneath the wig. Even though sometimes you see her wearing a wig, now you can see how her hair is actually growing.
You don't have to participate. You don't have to be a part of this. It's not. It's gonna be boring. Nothing's gonna happen.
So this is coming from two sides. Like, I've said a lot of times, I have came up with plots and scenes and whatever only as an excuse to drop a musical reference that I like. This is more than most. The entire purpose of this short was just to construct a story that would give me an excuse to throw a musical reference that it's coming and that I'm going to explain when it comes. But also, I don't know, I really like the idea of celebrating a day by spending all day sleeping in your bed. There's something that sounds so incredibly comfy and cozy about it. And I think a lot of it stems from the fact that I have a weird relationship with happiness and my emotions, and to me, there is no happier feeling than feeling sleepy. To me, the feeling of being on your bed, cozy and sleepy and comfortable and all covered in blankets and about to fall asleep, that's what true happiness feels to me. That's the happy, because it means that you are so comfortable. You're feeling so comfortable and so vulnerable and so released and unstressed that you're not being in bed is not a matter of being exhausted or being spent or requiring rest because you're so burned out. No, it's just like you're comfortable and you're nice and you feel good and you can just relax and for a second. And you know, this stems from the fact that I am a very high strung person and I am a very stressed person and I suffer a lot of anxiety. So to me, feeling relaxation, feeling sleepy is like heaven, essentially. It's a rare opportunity that I get to feel like that.
Just gonna sleep, okay? Oh no, Jenny, please don't worry.
Oh, the limp wrist. The limp
I'm
wrist.
glad that we get to share a birthday together after all these years. Thank you, Peter. You're the best.
Oh, they're such good friends. So, there is something uncomfortable. First of all, in the background you can see... So, that is a weird plushie on the shelf, right? That's a weird plushie because it looks like a whale, but it has a shark's fin. Why? Well, because it's a mix of two things. First, the typical shark plushie, Blaja, which is like, again, another trans meme, another trans reference. Apparently, a lot of trans girls have that specific plushie of that specific shark. But also, Zoe, the person that I already told you about, my friend, she had a plushie of a whale that she got on Thailand. Why? Because her favorite character in The Adventures of Flapjack was Booby the whale. And so she wanted a whale plushie. So I decided to combine both of these things here. Another thing that you can notice here is how Peter is blushing, right? So there is something kind of awkward happening on many levels here because Peter is just trying to be a good friend. Peter just wants to be here for his friend. But, you know, he is going to sleep in the room of the person that he has a crush on. So, you know, that's kind of a very awkward situation to be in. And here comes the musical reference that I was speaking of. So, you can probably tell by now that I am a fan of mashups. I love, love, love musical mashups like none other. And so, this specific musical mashup is a mashup between Lullaby, the classic Lullaby, I don't remember by whom it is composed, and Happy Birthday. And it's a beautiful, beautiful composition. It's so melancholic and so wholesome and so cute and so adorable and so happy and so everything. And I like this composition so much. And it's such a fascinating idea, right? Combining a lullaby to go to sleep with the Happy Birthday song. Like, that's such an interesting mix. And I kept thinking more and more about it, and then I came up with the idea of, how about if there was this thing where you celebrate your birthday by sleeping the entire birthday? And that's how I came up with this episode, just so that I could include this song. Now, this song is interesting because it's not modern. We associate mashups with, like, modern music editing tools and modern YouTube micro celebrities like Neil Cicierega and DJ Comerbond and Triple Q and Silva Gunner. But this was made, I think, in 1992 by an Argentinian artist called Ernesto Acher, who was part of a comedy musical group called Les Luthiers, which in French means those who make their own instruments. Holy shit, I am info dumping right now. Anyway, there was this musical comedy group who performed in theaters in Argentina in the 60s all up to the mid-2000s called Les Luthiers, who would create ridiculous, absurd instruments with normal everyday instruments like toilets and buckets and tin cans. And he was a member of that group until he separated from the group, I think somewhere in the mid-70s, and then he went his own way, and in the 90s, he composed an album called Juegos, Games, where he would make multiple mashups of different songs. For example, mixing Eine kleine Musik with a Hebrew folk song, or mixing the Pink Panther with in the Hall of the Mountain King, or the Beethoven's Fifth with Let It Be by the Beatles, and, you know, the classic lullaby with Happy Birthday. Now, the interesting way in which he would combine these things is that he is a professional music orchestra conductor who had an entire live orchestra to play these songs live and he would record that. He didn't do this with editing instruments. He just wrote the mashup in like a music sheet, and then he had an entire orchestra actually play it for real. And that's amazing. And we can listen to it now. Oh man, this is so adorable. Oh, also, yeah, Jennyffer is a huge fan of Ball Masters and Super Jail because it's just I feel like it fits her mood perfectly. I feel kind of ambivalent towards Super Jail, but I fucking love Ball Masters 9009. I think it's probably the perfect show. Definitely top 5 Adult Swim's shows ever. I wouldn't say that they're an inspiration on Jennyffer because they're very, very, very different styles of humor, but they are an inspiration in Jennyfer's attitude towards things. You can probably see how Jennyffer is very similar to Gas Dixie or whatever the name was of the MILF in Ball Masters. God, so cute. God damn it. I like the fact that I gave this show a bit of a wholesome moment. A moment that it had. There is no cynicism here. There is no like dirty joke or dark humor or any kind of irony in it. It's just a nice, cute, earnest moment of happiness and friendship. I think a lot more shows should have the bravery of doing this. I think sometimes we're a little too irony poisoned, and I think this makes the show a lot more human. It makes the emotions hit a lot stronger. It makes the characters feel a lot more real, more multidimensional, and it's just a nice moment. It's a nice way to cut the flavor of darkness and cynicism in the story. And I'm saying happy birthday here because I released this on September 2002, which was a year after 2 years after I came up with Jennyffer. And that was the Interlude 6.5. We will see you in episode 7.